Would you be interested in getting over your fear of flying just by doing something that seems a little silly and only takes a few minutes to help you get over your fear of flying? Well, if you are, continue watching. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to think about what makes you feel fearful of flying. I'm sure it's different for many people. Is it being in the airplane? Is it getting on the airplane? Is it seeing the airplane? Is it in the flight of the airplane? Is it turbulence in the airplane? I don't know. But whatever it is that makes you fearful about flying, I want you to think about that for a moment. In the safety of your own home. Now, as you think about what makes you fearful flying, I want you to measure 0 to 10 how fearful you feel right now thinking about that. Now, I'm not asking you to come up with, oh, it's 10, I'm always afraid, 10. No. What I want you to do is I want you to listen to that inner voice. When I ask you 0 to 10, when you think about what makes you fearful about flying, what number pops to mind of how much fear you feel thinking about that? Okay, with that number, I want you to follow along with me and say the words out loud that I'm saying. So here we go. Even though I have that number of fear of flying, I'm okay now. Even though I have that number of fear of flying, I'm okay now. Even though I have that number of fear of flying, I'm okay now. That number of fear of flying. 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 Take a deep breath in. And release all that now. Now think about again what makes you fearful of flying. Notice if there's any changes as you think about that. Do you visualize it in some way in your mind? I don't know. But whatever it is, I want you to measure again 0 to 10 how much fear you feel about thinking about what makes you fearful for flying. Now with that remaining number, I want you to continue doing as I do and saying the words I say. Even though I still have that number of remaining fear, I'm okay now. Even though I still have that number of remaining fear, I'm okay now. Even though I still have that number of remaining fear, I'm okay now. That number of remaining fear of flying. 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 Now take a deep breath in. And release all that now. Now this time, I want you to think about what makes you fearful flying. And when you think about that fear that's inside you, notice where you normally feel that fear. Where does it start? Whatever pops to mind is the right answer. Don't go looking for conscious right answers. This is not a conscious process. We're working with the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind gives you rapid answers. So where do you normally feel fear? Where does that fear normally start? Okay. Now what I want you to do is I want you to put a colour on that fear. Whatever colour pops to mind, no searching for the right answer. When I say put a colour on that fear of flying, what colour pops to mind? Okay, now put a shape on that colour. What shape pops to mind? Okay, so here we go again. Saying it loud after me. Even though I have that colour and shape, fear of flying, I'm okay. Even though I have that colour and shape, fear of flying, I'm okay. Even though I have that colour and shape, fear of flying, I'm okay. That colour and shape. That colour and shape. That colour and shape. that color and shape, that color and shape, that color and shape, that color and shape, that color and shape. Take a deep breath in and release that now. Okay, just thinking about that one more time. That color and shape of fear. Notice, has that color changed in any way? Has the shape changed in any way? Has it got bigger, smaller, moved off into the distance, faded in some way? Just notice what difference there is about that color. And as you notice the difference of that color and focusing on that color, I want you to begin tapping down in between your little finger and ring finger, just down in the groove here, and just keep tapping. And at the same time, while you focus on that color of fear, I want you to look down without moving your head at the floor and roll your eyes up slowly, 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 as high as you can get. Very good. Take a deep breath in and release that now. I hope this has helped you in some way. When you think about that fear of flying, that you notice that something has reduced in some way. And if you want to work more on that fear, you can go back to the beginning and do some more EFT. And if not, you can move on and test it out. Go on that trip you've always wanted to go on.